Welcome to Astrology and Healing with Rose. My name is Rose Reevely, and I'm a Vedic astrologer. And this show is featuring alternative and healers, basically, energy healers, people who are changing other people's lives, who are helping people to transform and bring light to the planet during this extraordinary time. If you haven't, please remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? And I want to let you know there are so many different kinds of healing modalities. And we also refer to this kind of work as energy work and also mind, body, and spirit connection. So this is what we're going to be talking about today on this show. And today my guest is Latifu Munirah. Hi, Latifu.
Good morning.
Did I get that? Did I say it right? Did I get that?
No problem.
Good. Okay, great. All right. Well, so I want to let everyone know, let our viewers know, listeners know, Latifu is her background is clinical social work, and she has worked in the areas of child abuse, in the areas of domestic violence. She has worked as an administrator, a supervisor, and a trainer. Today, her healing work is that of medium or mediumship and psychic development. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Latifu is also a health coach, and she merges these two areas, mediumship and health coaching. She merges these two together in a beautiful way. So I want to say I'm so excited to talk to you about this today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So you know what? I wanted to start off, Latifu, with asking you for your interpretation, because I know we always think we know what mediums do, right? But I think sometimes we're not sure of everything. So just let's start there.
Okay, I'm not sure if I'm sure of everything either, but I'll give you my perspective of it.
Okay.
I see mediums as a go-between the spirit world and the human world. They pretty much serve as a connector by bringing messages from the spirit world to the loved ones or other people here on planet Earth. And believe it or not, everyone can really make a connection themselves, but not everyone is a medium or has a desire to be a medium. A medium is one who can actually communicate with the spirit world. And while you're sitting and talking with them, give you the messages, give you the identification, the description of the person who's on the other side. Now, this mediums also are able to move energy around or be conduits for the movement of energy. For instance, we have physical mediums, and with physical mediums, you find that things around them can move. You find that some physical mediums can actually levitate, actually be in one place and then another place. So a variety of things can happen. It's energy, and it all depends on how we use energy. Each one of us is an energy being, and each one of us can make contact with the energy world. If it's through dreams, if it's through punches, if it's just through the thinking, I think people don't realize that thoughts carry energy. And it's so important to monitor these things, like what's happening with your dream. It's not just something that's flowing through your mind, going from one thing to another. It keeps you busy while you're sleeping. All dreams have messages for us. So it's important for us to pay attention to how energy regulates around us and how we're using our energy to impact people around us and things around us.
That's I think that's a much deeper explanation. And see, I've learned something really important with you saying that there are mediums that can move, and I do understand it's all energy. That there's different ways of using mediumship. Then is that right? Would that be right?
Right. We can think about electricity and how you flip a switch and a light comes on.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, people would say that's not possible. Those who use candles, it's not possible. Now we don't think about that. So with mediumship, it's like switching a switch, just changing a switch, focusing differently. And there are many programs that teach you how to do mediumship. And the program that I learned with is the Spiritualist National Union, which gives you a specific pattern, really, of how to prepare yourself and how to really go in and communicate. They basically teach you evidential mediumship, which is instead of saying, I have a person here and blah, 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 and blah, 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 or your father says blah, 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 you actually are able to get a description, a physical description, a personality description, so that the person who's sitting with you can say, yes, that is my father. You might have his name. Say, for instance, his name is William Smith. You could say, I have William Smith here. And the person, yes, that's my father. Mm-hmm. And he's 5'11", and his personality was he was a very cheerful person. So yes, that's my father. So they actually give you a description of that mediumship. And information that is accepted as real is considered evidence. So that's why it's called evidential mediumship.
Mm-hmm. So what made you become interested in, you obviously knew that you had some, I'm going to say God-given talent here, that's the only way I know how to communicate it. It's like you sensed you had something there already, right? I mean, what made you become interested in mediumship?
I think my health journey really led me to become interested in mediumship. On my health journey, I was continuously looking for the root of the illnesses that I had, like what's making me feel uncomfortable. The doctors could only tell me so much. And, tests would come back positive, you're fine. And I'm leaving the office thinking, I'm really not fine, and it's not in my head. So, what can I do? And I just kind of stumbled across mediumship. I think just looking, just putting out that desire, that intention to find out what was going on with me, then I was, led, as I would say, my intuition would say, okay, well, why don't you check this site and that site? And so just checking around, I saw mediumship. But the first real experience that I had with it was when a friend and I were talking one day, and she told me about a priest from Africa who was coming to where I lived at that time, San Francisco, and was going to do a workshop. And this was a priest in the African Tradiling history. So I went to the workshop, and I had a spiritual awakening at the workshop where I was physically moved unintentionally with energy. And I still at that point didn't quite realize what it was. And later, I learned about John of God in Brazil. And then I learned from there, I learned about mediumship. So it was like a progressive step,
right.
Progressive journey. And so here I am.
Wow. I think I really find it so fascinating too um, that you can use this and intertwine it to help people with health coaching. So what, you know, tell me, share with us, like, maybe just some basic things, like if people wanted to tap into their natural ability of connecting. You said earlier, hey, we can all tap into it, I think you said, but we're not all mediums. I get that.
Right.
um but what would be, through your experience, what would be some basic things that we could do to maybe tap into that?
I would really encourage people to trust their intuition. And for me, the intuition is those weird hunches that you get. Excuse me. For instance, a hunch that says, don't go down this street, take another way home. And when you follow it and actually take that other way home, you find out one or two things happened. Either there was an accident, the original road that you were going to take, or by taking the road home, you ran into somebody that you were trying to find and connect with for some time. And all of a sudden, there that person was in the store, walking down the same aisle. So it's following those intuitive hunches that you get. And don't listen to people outside of you, like the external voice that's saying, oh, no, that's ridiculous. Follow the hunches. And for someone who's new with this, keep track of it.
Oh.
And just keep like a little journal for yourself. Like today, instead of doing such and such, I did such and such, and this happened. And you'll find that gets stronger and stronger. And another way I would say would be to just question yourself, ask yourself questions before you actually do something. Like, ask yourself, is this the most important thing for me to do? How am I reacting? As an example, sometimes when we're interacting with people, we find ourselves getting upset.
Mm-hmm.
And really beginning to match the energy of the person we're talking with. If the person is escalating, then we find we want to escalate. So instead of getting into an argument, just kind of calm yourself down. And if you have to, remove yourself from the situation. But then later think, what is there that's really upsetting me? Is it this person? Is this the first time this has happened to me? And then try to do a computer scan of when was the first time I experienced this? And you could find it was when you were a kid and you were trying to do something and somebody was really preventing you from doing it. And okay, I'm not that kid anymore. I'm an adult. I can express my needs and I can deal with this in a healthy way for me and for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
That use of your thinking, that energy, and your intuition helps you to be a calmer person and a healthier person. Because the more we allow stress to take over us, the more we fall victim to illnesses and diseases. And the first thing we'll find a doctor will say is, relax, spend time with yourself, bed rest.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to be in a stressful situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we can begin to jumpstart our intuition by taking care of ourselves and by listening to our bodies and really listening to that inner voice instead of calming it and quieting it. Mm-hmm. And that can be a difficult thing, especially for us women. That can be a difficult thing because, as we know, women have a lot to say, and it's important. And a lot of times other people don't want to hear it.
True.
So it's important for us, we have to figure out how can we say it so that it's heard, but how can we say it so that we're honoring ourselves by getting it out and not keeping it in and making it just pile up, and then come out in the form of an illness, come out in the form of anger or whatnot.
Yeah. It's really all about harnessing that energy, isn't it?
It is, and redirecting it.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about the physical medium. Does this just happen like spontaneously? I'm just curious about it.
Well, I can't tell you a whole lot about it because that's not the type that I do. But for some people, everybody is like born to do something.
Yes.
It's like we find prodigies, kids who are like 4 years old who can play Mozart, without anybody teaching them. Yeah. So we have some mediums who are like born mediums, who come in and are able to move objects move around them or whatnot, and then others, study for a while and under like mentorships or tutorships, and develop that way.
What would be is it just to know that you can do it, or what would be the reason to do that part of mediumship? What would be the reason to do it? Is it to have that kind of focus because that would take extreme amount of focus of energy.
Yeah. I can't really answer that. But I should imagine it's a combination of things, like focusing the energy and also helping other people to focus their energy to allow them to know that such things are possible. Physical mediumships manifest in a variety of ways, and so I would encourage anybody to go online and kind of look it up, especially go to Spiritualist National Union and look that up under their website.
And okay, great. So tell us, if somebody contacts you, and you can maybe go in depth here if you want, or I guess I would ask this: do you have people who contact you and say, "Hey, I want to give a message to my grandma or my grandpa or my sister or my brother"? Does that happen very often, or do they just drop in on a session? I'm sure that can happen, right? Hey, this is your grandpa, or I don't know. Has that happened for you?
Well, basically people come and, when they are there, then the spirits come, and you never know who's going to come. I mean, it could be grandma or grandpa, but it could also be like father or mother or, somebody who they really don't have that familiarity with. For instance, with me, one of my grandmothers comes who I never knew.
Oh.
I mean, she died before I was born, and the only thing I know about her is what I was told. But she occasionally comes, through other people, and she occasionally visits with me too.
Yeah.
But she comes and she has specific messages that she wants to give me that apparently I'm not listening to. So she has someone else to say, "Look, this is what I have to say to you."
Right. There we go with those important messages that we women have, right? It's like we're getting through no matter what.
Right, they come through. So we like to say it's not, 1-800-medium, dial spirit. You come and you deal with what you get. But primarily people come not to give messages, but to receive messages.
Yeah, I think that, you know, that and I do believe that our ancestors are very interested. They've passed over. I believe they're very interested in our lives.
Yeah, I do too. You know, most cultures really honor ancestors and communicate with them on a regular basis. I think, you know, in this culture, we don't. We find that to be very strange and something that is like woo-woo, you don't do.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, other than which is interesting, people talk about making a connection when they die, but then when you try to get specifics about what kind of connection are you going to make, then, you know, like the details are not there. But you can make a connection when you're alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad has been gone for 23 years now, but you know, sometimes I just feel I have quite a few photos of him in my home, and mm-hmm. Sometimes I just feel that he's there, you know. Mm-hmm. But I do have I think that a lot of people do have something of a fascination with mediumship. Part of it is because you know, you can't see it. There is, it's not tangible, you know. I mean, the mysteries of the world and the occult, which occult just simply means what is hidden. There's nothing negative about that word. We don't understand it in today's world, but it means what is hidden. And you know, mediumship is something that you can't, you know, you can't see this action.
Right.
It's a sense, it's an energy, it's a feeling, it's an intuitiveness.
Well, you know, the fascinating thing is there are some mediums that you can actually see the spirit who's communicating with them because the face changes and the body changes. You know, it's like this is like part of being the physical medium. It's like you physically are changing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know the first time I saw that, the only time I've seen that was really fascinating. And I was blinking my eyes and I was thinking, am I seeing what I'm seeing? You know?
Yeah. So you mean their countenance changes from the information coming in? Is that what it is?
Yeah, from the person who's giving the spirit who's giving them the information, they in a sense take on the likeness of the spirit who's giving them the information.
That is fascinating. I would have been blinking too. Trying to clean, you know, like windshield wipers. Did I see that?
Right.
Or, you know, did that really happen? Yeah.
So I had to check with other people around me after the event and say, did you see what I saw? And they said, what did you see? I'm gonna say, yep, we saw it too.
Yeah. Need some confirmation on that, right? That is amazing.
But you know, I think it's important again to say that you really don't have to go to a medium to make these connections. You can make these connections yourself. It's just a matter of taking the time, being relaxed, and being focused, and setting the intention that this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. You can do it by just sitting. If you're one who meditates, for instance, you know, you calm yourself before you meditate. Your eyes are closed, and then you can just, you know, set the intention to communicate with so and so, and just begin. You can also do it by writing. You know, we have cartographers. We have who basically are people who do inspirational writing. Some people call it automatic writing. It's like they just make a connection with the spirit world and just start writing. It's like the spirit is writing through them.
Oh, amazing.
Sometimes the spirit actually speaks through people. And the medium who is facilitating the communication, for instance, doesn't know Spanish or any foreign language, but during the communication speaks Spanish, speaks could speak German, could speak Portuguese, but in the moving world, does not know these languages.
Wow.
For instance, somebody who lives on a farm could really write discourses, philosophical discourses. There are two mediums from Brazil who are really great with this. One is Francisco, I think it's, I'd have to get his name. Javier, I'll have to send you the names of the two of them who've written books, like over 20 some books by the spirit communicator.
Wow.
So it's like so many things are possible, and we think, oh no, that can't happen. Well, just think about it. Everything in the room that you're in right now was seen as being impossible before. That lamp behind you, that glass window behind you, American Airlines, the steel bird in the sky.
Yeah, yeah.
All of this is different. The cruise liner, the steel boat. All of this is energy that has been harnessed in a different way. So why not, the energy from the spirit world? If we can go up to the moon, why can't those in the moon come down to us?
Oh, I know. That's such a beautiful way to think of it too. That perspective, like we were talking about yesterday, the perspective, sometimes having fresh words on it or fresh eyes on it, like what you're sharing with us today, is going to give our listeners, a different perspective on mediumship. And I think that I love what you're saying, that truly we all can, if we take the time. And that probably, and I even work in this in an area of manifesting with what I do is, and I talk about it pretty often, is the focus and intention that you're talking about. I think that's where we don't have enough patience, like we don't take the time, the adequate time to intend and to be one pointed with our focus, because focus is not here and there and bouncing off, and that's kind of the way the mind is, it bounces around. We call it monkey mind in yoga, monkey mind, it's bouncing here, it's there, but I think that focus and intention piece of it, like you were saying, it sounds like that's really the basis. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever had someone bring an object to you, like a watch?
Right.
Or talk to us some about that, about an object that is.
Right. Well, everything catches the spirit, the energy, everything. For instance, you've probably been to some rooms or houses or buildings where you felt uncomfortable. And you said, no, I'm not going to stay here. This doesn't feel right. Okay, it's because of the energy that's in the room. It's like what has happened, what is there. Everything picks up energy. Some rooms you walk into, it's like you walk into a cathedral and there's a different atmosphere than when you walk into a bar room. You can have the same people.
Yes.
They're doing different things. So they're using different energy. And the environment is being imprinted with the energy that they're using at that time. So it's the same thing with a necklace or your earrings. If you take them off and somebody has them and hands them to another person who doesn't know you, then that person basically puts it in their hands and just focuses on what is the energy here. And anything could pop up. You know, it's like a picture of you could pop up in the person's mind, or your personality, or a recent interaction that you had. At one point, somebody had handed me a set of keys, and I was feeling, and I just started talking, and of course I didn't know the person. I didn't know what was going on, and I was talking about a relationship issue regarding the keys, and it turned out she validated that she had had an argument with her significant other, and she had left the house. So, we can just, things have energy, just like people. Animals have energy.
Yes.
So it's important for us to really acknowledge that. How some dogs are friendly, some dogs are not. It's just like some people are friendly, some people are not.
True. True.
It's like the energy that's being put out. And we can do our part to change our energy, and that then changes the energy around us.
I absolutely agree with that. Noticing that, I feel like we have such incredible power through the breath, and that our own energy. I mean, I'm sure you've been in a room where one person walked in and that person was so dynamic, it was impossible to not feel that in the room. You know what I mean? Like, it was impossible it's positive, obviously. And I'm sure that it could be the negative piece that would apply as well if somebody were very negative. But I do remember, several times being in a room where all of the people seem to start to revolve like the planets around this one person who stood out, like the sun, like the sun shines. So I can remember being in those situations. So, and of course I'm fascinated with energy, I mean, that we both are. We wouldn't be sitting here, right, doing this. Well, Latifu, I want to thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And I want to do this again with you and maybe talk a little deeper on mediumship. And I do love that you've given us some tips on, how we can just start to get more or listen more to our own intuitiveness. And I know, it's so true what you say. And I know that, sometimes you hear people say, well, my intuition said go this way and I didn't, and I should have known better. We hear that all the time, right? I should have known better. So we really do have to, it is a gift. I believe it is a gift.
It is. Can I just say a couple of quick things before we go?
Yes.
Okay, as we were talking, I was thinking, it's important for people not to think this is woo-woo, that this, has no place in today's society. Do some research on distant viewing, and you will see that the United States government has used distant viewing, especially during the Cold War. We used distant viewing, which is basically you have people here in the United States who are focused again, who are looking at different places, buildings, whatnot in another country and actually reading papers, documents. That is not my makeup. That is, we can check it out and you can actually learn that. We actually know that many corporations are beginning to integrate intuition into leadership styles, how to enhance your intuition as a leader, and how to work with your staff on an intuitive basis. So this is not, woo-woo. This is,
We're beyond that, right?
yeah.
We
If you need a reference, you can see how science and how spirit energy meld, and they're used together, can be used together for negative and positive. And hopefully people are using it together to forward the community and forward the planet in a positive way, so that we become just filled with love, and we cooperate and collaborate with one another, and we're just healthy. We have healthy people, healthy animals, healthy environment. Because the way we are now, we're all suffering. We're all suffering. And I'm not talking about a political or philosophical standpoint. If you just walk outside and breathe deeply, you might find yourself coughing your head off. So it's like, okay, what can I do then to make the atmosphere a cleaner place? That then helps us change the energy of the planet, change the energy of ourselves, and change the energy of our families and friends.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you for that. Now, Latifu, if one wanted to get in touch with you, how would they contact you?
They would contact me through email.
Email?
Latifu Munirah @gmail.com.
Okay. And I think you said that your website is under construction right now, so that's coming. And so perhaps once you have that, we'll meet again before then. I know, but we'll do this again so that we can put that up for listeners and viewers, and for people to contact you should they need your services. So that would be great if we could do that again. Right.
Well, thank you. It's been such a delight talking with you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much. And thank you for your time today. And thank you for everything you do to bring light to this planet. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see each other soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.